All right, let's deal with this. Two members of the National Guard, as I'm sure you know by now, were ambushed and shot in Washington, D.C. As of this moment, I'm recording this a little after 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm not sure what the condition of these two guardsmen is. There was some confusion about this. At one point, the governor of West Virginia, these are two guardsmen from West Virginia, the governor of West Virginia made a public statement that they had died. He then retracted that statement. It is being reported by the media now that they are in critical condition. FBI Director Kash Patel just addressed the public and said that they were in critical condition. So I guess they are alive and in critical condition. As would be expected, MAGA is making this political, as they do, blaming this all on Democrats, which is absurd. But I want to address one key point that I see some of them making. Here is just one example. This is from Ann Coulter on Twitter, the despicable Ann Coulter. She posted an article that is making the rounds, and she pulled a quote from the article. She writes, "Key point. This attack comes just days after 6 prominent Senate and House Democrats ambiguously claimed in a video that President Trump was forcing the military to break the law." Let's be very clear about Donald Trump's deployment of the National Guard into Washington, D.C. It is illegal. In fact, just days ago, a federal judge ruled that Donald Trump violated the law when he deployed the National Guard into Washington, D.C. The judge put her order on hold for a period of time to allow Trump to appeal that order. But there is a standing order from a federal judge that Trump's deployment in Washington, D.C. of the National Guard is in fact illegal. So to all of these fucking MAGAs who are making a big deal about this video and saying, well, they're accusing the president of acting illegally, and that is what led to these guardsmen being shot. Donald Trump did act illegally. And what Donald Trump did in illegally deploying the National Guard to Washington, D.C., and everywhere else he has done so, is to put a target on their backs. Deployed them for no damn good reason. He deployed them to act like a tough guy. He deployed them to distract from his involvement with his best friend, Jeffrey Epstein. He deployed them to intimidate, harass, and oppress the American people. That's why he did it. That's why he's using the National Guard the way he is. That does a disservice to them, and it's friggin' illegal. And people like Ann fucking Coulter and all of these other people should be angry at Donald Trump for using the National Guard in this way and putting them in harm's way. Because what happens when you use the National Guard in the way that he is? The natural consequence of that is to make people angry. And in a country as big as ours, with as easy access to firearms as we have in this country, it is foreseeable. In fact, it should be expected that some people are going to take matters in their own hands and illegally, and I am not in any way condoning what this gunman did, but to take matters into their own hands and take up arms against the people who they see as Donald Trump's tools of oppression. And again, that person who shot them is a criminal and should be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. There is no excuse or justification for what that person did. But the fact that some people would act in this way is foreseeable, is expected when you do this. When you use the National Guard, when you use the military against American citizens, you put them on the streets for no other reason than to intimidate and harass American citizens. Of course something like this was going to happen. Donald Trump did this. And yes, what he did was illegal. He is using the military illegally, as a federal judge just ruled. The problem here is Donald Trump. He should be impeached and removed from office, but we know what's going to happen. This is one of those things that will make Republicans rally around him. It's sick. It's a sick fucking cult. If they weren't so wrapped up in a cult of personality, they would see this for what it is, and they would join with the rest of us in wanting to impeach and remove this criminal piece of shit from office.